Welcome back after a long break. Apologies, folks, but not much that we could do about it. The patch hit right before this game was supposed to start, and a couple of those players forgot to opt out of their tester tools for the workshop. Oh, tisk, 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 Korok, you silly snake. Blaze was a silly snake as well. We're casting off the ticket because he was the last one to load, and, well, he's about the lowest priority as it comes in terms of waiting for people to get into the game. So sorry, Blaze, but, well, at least we got something. Oh, jeez. Sorry, Blaze. Forgot to unmute you. That's my bad there. I was just flaming you, too, for being a slow loader. What's up, man?
Not too much in this game, finally. It's been much anticipated in regards to the technical stuff, but happy to be into it now. This is the big game for tonight, man. Evil Geniuses, they've had a couple of warm-up rounds. Navi, I think they're fresh on it, but at least they're at full strength. We were looking at perhaps a stand-in on behalf of Korok, but one benefit of the delays is that we bought a little bit more time for him, so, you know, tactical patch. Korok confirmed Ice Frog, but nevertheless, this should be a really fun one. Navi US, EG, the top two of the America bracket, and going head-to-head here in this best of one. Really pumped.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And, well,
remaining.
I don't think there's too much else to say in terms of introduction. Again, we are two minutes delayed, folks. We're casting off the tickets, so for those of you looking for the in-game audio, my name probably still shows up in there as I did load in, but left right away. So, yeah, you'll have to watch the VOD for this one. Was the first pick Death Prophet for Navi US, Razor and Shadow Shaman for EG. They grab that Razor anytime they can. And Navi US pick up the Razor, or pardon me, the Viper in their first set of picks. First round of bans looking pretty straightforward, but EG, now they ban out Jakiro and Wisp with their third and fourth. Navi with the Nature's Prophet and Centaur. There's that Alchemist making a showing once again here.
Yeah, very interesting pick here, but the big deal is that Death Prophet is very susceptible to physical damage. You get her armor low, and she's just going to be dropping very quickly. And because she's kind of the anchor of this lineup here, in the sense that the entire team fight is going to revolve around whether she lives or dies. She's going to be pushing in. She'll be kind of wanting to be on the second line. Viper along with her. They're both those heroes that can contribute a ton to the push. They are very centric about extending the fight and trying to just dish out damage while receiving quite a bit. And it all comes down to whether they survive, whether or not they have the durability to push forward. But by starting off with the kind of this like anti-Vlad's aura with the acid spray, knocking down their armor, it's very difficult to guarantee the push. So I think the Alchemist pick is really strong and obviously has some great zone roaming potential with the Shadow Shaman. But Navi US obviously opened with how they wanted, and we'll see what they follow up with.
Yeah, they grabbed the Ancient Apparition. So Navi US doing things a little bit differently, and you know, I got so distracted here. I forgot my overlay. Oh my gosh, Blaze, it's turning into a disaster. Yeah, now we get to see that beautiful Starladder overlay here in just a second. But the Ancient Apparition, there is still a Faceless Void in the pool, and perhaps thinking that EG don't really want to scoop him up here. They tend not to run the Void when they're on the dire side, and certainly not as often. And maybe that's what Navi US are angling for here.
Yeah, that's definitely possible to get it for themselves. If they go for like the Tide Hunter for Universe, as we usually see on the Dire, then that could be a very possible opening for them. But for right now, we're going to see the Enigma come out for Zai, presumably. We have seen some interesting lanes involving this Alchemist in the past, man. If we get some flashbacks to TI4, we did see some mid-Arteezy Alchemist, and although that didn't work out perfectly with their strategies in that particular game, it's something that he is capable of and could be bringing to this game here. We'll see if he goes back to the Razor, or if he does pick up the Alchemist. Obviously, Fear could be managing both, and Zai, that's the only one that I can be really certain of, is going to be running this Enigma.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, a hero he's quite comfortable on. He played the Enigma counterpart a lot in Han, and he's also played this one quite a bit in Dota, so certainly a lot of experience there. And Navi will think about this, though. They will need a second support as well as another core. Basically, they'll need an off-laner, but Void is kind of well-suited for that. He is well-suited for that on the Radiant side. They can mid the Prophet, put the Viper in the safe lane, and be in a pretty good position. They could also try and put the Viper mid and safe lane the Prophet if they wanted to make that Razor's life a little more difficult. But sky's the limit, and we'll just have to be patient here as they still have a good 30 seconds of bonus time left before they have to make a decision.
Ooh, that's a fun one.
The clockwork.
Yeah, Brax has had a lot of experience on this hero. Yeah, but he's varied in his role in the lanes as far as where he goes. But if he's going to be taking this thing off lane, I have a lot of confidence with him on this hero in general. I mean, canceling out the channeled effects of shackles and black holes are going to be his specialty, with the hook shot, with the cogs, even with battery assault, just sticking on top of them and making it almost impossible. So very frustrating here to go up against, and we've seen Brax do some amazing things in this hero. Actually, probably one of the best offlane clockworks in the business. So very nicely done. I'm pretty sure they would have actually opted for a pushing support like the Jakiro if that was available to them, but as it's not, they're going to go ahead and just flesh out their core lineup here. And as I suspected, they really just want to focus on the DP and Viper farm. They're not going to go for another hero that might leech away from that. They want to make sure that these guys are the frontliners. They're the ones who can tank up, and they're the ones that can make it through the fight. So the final support is the only thing they need. Maybe the Rubik could come out for Navi US.
That would be a great choice here. EG banned out the Vengeful Spirit, who could have worked decently as well, but yeah, I think that Rubik is a pretty obvious choice. The Black Hole is the big one, but quite a few other abilities that he could steal, and now Mirana, the choice for Evil Geniuses. So some nice setup there with the Mirana and the Shadow Shaman. I'm assuming she'll be a support, but they do have quite a bit of flexibility. What do you think here, Blaze? Is this a core alch or a support? How do you think him and the Mirana will end up in the lanes?
Well, right now with the Enigma, the fact is they have like 4 heroes that could technically support, but yeah, I still think it's going to be kind of a core, or like an offlane Mirana, and a situation where the Alchemist would be playing the like solo role. Like while the Shadow Shaman and Enigma are moving about the map, Alchemist could be mid, or he could be safe lane, and Razor obviously picks up the other role. But we have seen some variants. I mean, the Enigma could go off lane and things like that. I think though it is going to be off lane Mirana, and we'll have to see from there. PPD picking up the Alchemist pretty early, though. Might shuffle things a little bit here.
Yep, and there's your Rubik. So good call on that one. And whoa, Korok Rubik. Okay. I have a feeling, though, are they going to make the old swapperoo once we get into the game? A 1-4-3-7 Viper. That would be interesting.
Certainly would. I mean, as long as they got Braxton the Clockwork and Snake King on the Death Prophet, I really feel like they have their general game plan figured out. We'll see if they do want to swap it out for 1-4-3-7's Rubik instead. But at least for now, it seems like they want to keep it. It's going to be boots first on the Viper as well. So a lot of interesting things to talk about right out the gate.
Yep, and you have to pardon me. Ah, shit. As I make my hero size 950. I like the big chunky minimap icons. Merlini turned me onto it, and now I feel like I can't play Dota unless my minimap icons are big. The standard ones are just so itty-bitty. It's like watching a bunch of ants, dude.
What is this, a minimap for ants? But yeah. Universe is going to be running the Enigma. This was one thing I talked about as far as a possibility. Off-lane Enigma could work out very well. Just pulling back the wave constantly with the Eidolons, making it so that the laning phase will go all right for him. And later on, when he gets a 1-versus-1 matchup, as the supports never really have to roam, he can actually harass back the carry very efficiently. No matter who's down bottom, the Eidolons at just 2 points of demonic conversion can bring a lot of pain his direction. So we'll see how effective that is. But for right now, that means they're going to be much more active and less greedy. Like if you look at the supports of Navi US, they're considering warding out the camps, and they will do so, but it's almost completely useless because by the time these expire in 4 minutes' time, Universe will have had plenty of time on the off lane to focus on getting experience elsewhere.
Yep, and he'll just be headed to the off lane. It looks like he will be stationed there. Zai will take the Shadow Shaman. Arteezy will go mid on the Razor. And that puts Fear in the safe lane with on the Mirana with PPD on the Alchemist. Looks like it will be a farming Mirana. She'll grab that Ring of Protection first. PPD supporting away. So EG, they're switching it up once more here for us, Blaze. And the off-lane Enigma, I like seeing this. It's kind of an old-school strategy, but I think it still works pretty well. And all those Eidolons in lane actually give you a lot of farming power.
Yeah, most definitely.
Snake King, he's in trouble. Invisibility rune on the Shadow Shaman. He'll start it off with some shackles. Arteezy's there for some damage. PPD with a full duration concoction. Ouch, that hurts. First blood gets drawn, and it is Arteezy that gets the bonus gold.
And they're going to be looking to duplicate this over and over and over again. I honestly think that they're going to attempt for at least 3 kills on the Death Prophet by the time the heroes start hitting level 6. So we'll see if that bodes true. For right now, Snake is going to take the long walk of shame to the lane, and it's going to be Fog to actually take up some solo XP for the first couple waves.
Yeah, And 1437 will be on the Viper. He's farming in the safe lane. Korok is supporting this game on the Rubik. So even Navi US doing things a little bit differently than their normal roles. Obviously, Korok tends to be that mid player, and Snake King in the safe lane farming role with 1437 on support. So both teams keeping it interesting for us here, Blaze, and switching it up a bit. But EG off to a really good start. And having that Alchemist in the position 4, he's another one of these heroes, kind of like the Wraith King, that will be able to move into kind of a tertiary carry role once this game goes on long enough and enough time opens up that he can find some farm. He will finally find his level 2, and that means Acid Spray is available.
Yeah, I think it's just going to really need just the Medallion and the Blink Dagger this game. You'll be able to take down Roche really easily with the help of the Enigma, and then you get your Initiation, which will be allowing you to try to kill off the Death Prophet multiple times. Already having a really rough lane. 2 and 1 is Snake's currency. Yes, he will Crypt Swarm down 1 more, but without any right-click damage, it costs him every single time he actually goes in for the CS. So it's going to be a very difficult mid lane for him. We'll see what he can make of it, but right now Arteezy was just pretty much handed this massive advantage, and he's certainly exploiting it here.
Yeah, he takes a couple of tower shots, Fogged rotating over, looking for a potential opening, but Chilling Touch, only level 1 with that really long cooldown, will have no opening to grab a potential kill. Off laners, looks like Universe having kind of a rough time. He is soon to find level 3, but will find his first last hit right here, obviously denying quite a bit with those Eidolons, but not finding too much farm. It's kind of the same story for Brax up in the top lane, though he's got at least a few more, and that's my bad. Tunnel visioning on the off laners there. Artur will get picked off this time as Korok and Fogged rotate through.
Yep. So good counter rotation, essentially, because they already knew that they were at a significant lane disadvantage just from the death of Snake King. They pull it back with a little bit of assistance from the supports, but Arteezy already still off to a great start. I mean, he actually hasn't gone for the boots just yet. He's actually going to go for a Magic Stick pretty early on, but that's because he knows that the only way that CS comes out for Snake King in this matchup, once this link comes out, is going to be based on him spamming his spells. So free charges for him, though I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for him to evade death if they go in for another Rubik rotation. Right now, the boots would really help in that situation, but for now, he's just going to kind of take the long haul all the way around whenever he gets aggroed on.
Yeah, he will just salve up and be able to go back to farming and holding a decent edge over the DP. Yeah, Korok rotating over onto Universe. Telekinesis to get it started. Viper's there with 2 points in the poison attack, and Universe with nowhere to go, just looking to spend some of that gold perhaps. And yeah, he'll get it and minimize his losses, recognizing there was no way to survive that one. And that will make it 2-1, but still a nice heads-up play from Universe. At least buy some items before he goes down.
Yeah, there's an observer ward over there, so I didn't track Korok's movements specifically until he got into that position. But if he was over by the pole camp, he could have... Oh, I can't draw on the map in Dota TV. But yeah, he could have gone for a bit of a wraparound from that position. Just barely avoided the sight of that obs. In either case, yeah, gets a very nice kill. And it seems wherever Korok goes, death follows. He's really making the most of his early laning stage, getting the ganks off where he needs to, now pulling back the wave for 1437. And obviously that's going to really help their in general establishment on the lanes. In the meantime, Brax going for some body blocking here, and hog blocking as well is going to make it so that he will always get experience when the wave pushes out.
Yep, and find some much needed lane control. Arteezy still dominating the mid lane, 24-4 versus the 16-4 Death Prophet. Snake King will get isolated here. Artur scouts him out, connects with the static link, and will drain a fair bit of damage. Now plus 42 on him as some more rotations coming over. Korok finds Zai in the jungle, and will have a telekinesis available. Snake King floating his way over. Crypt Swarm at the ready. Zai trying to juke in the tree line. Has a TP scroll, but it won't be enough. Gets telekinesed, and he'll go down. That'll be 3-1, and as you mentioned, wherever Korok goes, death follows, and that'll hold true once more. Now Artur comes in with a turnaround. We'll find a double kill, possibly even a triple. He'll man up on a Korok. It's a triple kill for Arteezy. 22 hit points to spare, and it's just too easy for this guy. Holy Toledo.
My gosh. And just going to die himself to Roshan. He's like, okay, I spent all my gold. See ya, suckers. And going right back to base of his own volition this time around. We do see 1437 diving deep, not taking tower aggro because he's using poison attack manually. There will be the shackles, but it's not enough to get Zai out of this one. He's just too slow. And the dot will tick down. He just walks away. Cool guys don't even look at their poisons. But yeah, it's just that Arteezy play was just absolutely insane. I looked at it, I saw him pop the Eye of the Storm. I'm like, okay, he's manning up, and he's manning up hard with that haste rune. He uses the bottle perfectly, and he ends up coming out huge. These are the plays you expect from this guy on a hero like Razor, on a hero like Death Prophet, where you can just kind of make it happen as long as you just barely tiptoe that line between life and death.
Yeah, Arteezy's right back at it, doing stealing a lot of damage from Snake King. Has a plasma field that is maxed out. There was potential for a kill there if he wanted to go for it, but saw fogged nearby and didn't want to bite off more than he could chew. You don't want to get cocky after a series of plays like that, but that will secure his power treads now to go with his bottle and his Wraith Band. So this is a great start for the Razor. Also level 8. All of those solo kills gave him a lot of experience, and that will push him into the XP leader for this game. Zai trying to find farm down bottom as Universe has just retreated to the jungle and looking to find some farm of his own, though he's also sitting pretty at level 7.
Yeah, it's an interesting skill build coming out from Staking, actually. Going for 2 in his Crypt Swarm, 3 in the Witchcraft, and 1 in the Exorcism. Really emphasizing this ultimate early, wanting to try to make the most of it, maybe in a bigger clash when maybe a 3v3 breaks out on the lane, or whenever Arteezy leaves, of course, trying to go for it. Now baiting him in, he turns it around onto Arteezy. Did not see this one coming, but he's still alive. He's just too damn tanky, and of course, the stun coming in for PPD will keep him up. These treads, stick, bottle combo, and Arteezy lives through a huge ultimate CD.
Yeah, and honestly, I doubt he was expecting Snake King to have the ultimate at level 6. Like you mentioned, Death Prophets these days are tending to max out Witchcraft primarily and hold that Exorcism, sometimes even until level 9, but usually 7 or 8 at the earliest. I feel like a level 6 Exorcism is few and far between unless there's some sort of a skirmish that breaks out right as they ding 6 or some big opening to take down a tower. So a noble effort, almost catch Arteezy off guard, but he lives and will live to fight another day. Now the Viper is racking up the free farm in the bottom lane. 1437 has 2 kills under his belt, as we saw the kill on Enigma and that dive onto Zai moments ago. And he's in good shape. He'll be a force to be reckoned with, unless EG makes some rotations to slow him down.
And they're also going to be looking to stack up the Ancients here. PPD just throws down a quick little Acid Spray. They're going to be able to farm that up pretty conveniently with that Acid Spray alone. But if maybe they want Arteezy to get the last hits, he can come in and just right-click them down whenever they actually start dropping. But he does get a nice little Invis Rune covered up by PPD. A lot of potential with this. You can actually use the Eye of the Storm and then go Invis, and as long as they're not underneath their tower, you can cause them no end of grief. But yeah, he's just going to be keeping his dominant performance going. But if you actually look at the net worth, he's not actually topping out. We do see that 1437 just free farming away and experiencing no pressure on this bottom lane, has just been able to get more out of it. And that's actually pretty huge, as his mech timing is going to be that much better.
Yeah. And Arteezy has only died once for realsies. It's kind of misleading to see that second death there, as, of course, the second one was an intentional suicide after he spent all of that unreliable gold. Fear is finding a lot of farm in the top lane. Actually, number 2 on net worth, has just moved into Phase Boots and Ring of Basilius. So standard stuff coming out of the position 1 Mirana, going for like the max DPS build here with Starstorm as the primary and that early point in Moonlight Shadow, but still hasn't been too active. We'll see Arteezy with an invisibility rune, scouting things out down bottom. I don't know that he's seen fogged yet. Looks like will get some intel now, but good positioning from the Ancient Apparition as Zai migrating his way into Arteezy zone with the Mass Serpent wards available. But they will back out, and no skirmish will break out, at least not quite yet. Gives PPD some space in the mid lane, though, to get a little bit of farm.
Yeah, with them having had the ward up for the Invis Rune, as well as the fact that they just see PPD chilling out in mid lane and kicking up his feet on the sofa, it's just like he's calling this home, and that means Arteezy is off to roam. Down bottom lane, the Invis Rune, it dispels, but now they have the Sentry Ward down, just in case there is a Moonlight Shadow initiation. They want 1437 to keep just farming away and build up some huge tank items. Mech Ags is really obviously what they're looking for, but when you think about his durability with the Corrosive Skin, those items are so much more valuable on him than on most other heroes. The effective HP is quite absurd, and it should be enough for him to survive anything but some mass arrows. I mean, 5-second arrow, you don't really come back from that. You don't have some defensive heroes to prevent that. I guess the best you can do is go for the cogs, knock them back, keep them away. But scouting out with the Rocket Flare, they will see this rush attempt early. No medallion on PPD, so it will be a bit of a slow one.
Yeah, the Acid Spray still does some decent work, and the Medallion makes it super fast, but this is enough to bring it down pretty quickly. Rasta wards here to do some extra damage. Now, these are cool-looking Rasta wards as well. Little Little dragons there, doing a little bit of the extra 1-2. Now, Navi US coming in, Crypt Swarm connecting on 2. Zai taking a lot of damage, first to go down to start off this fight, but Roshan's already fallen. Artor will be the one to grab the Aegis of the Immortal. PPD on the high ground. Will get zoned out by Cogs, but Fear connects with an arrow on Brax, hops forward, Starstorm on 2. Snake King taking some damage, but will be forced back. And now 1437 coming in, and it will just be a kill onto the Shadow Shaman. Arteezy lives, and Aegis of the Immortal stays standing. So I think EG overall will be pretty happy with that, just to trade their position 5 Shadow Shaman for a Roche.
Absolutely. Just getting in there early, although Navi US definitely had the possibility to connect and contest that. They just couldn't get in position fast enough. They couldn't prevent it. They get some kills in turn, which is nice. It's better than giving it away free. But all the same, if you could take a Roche fight, or not really a Roche fight, but a Roshan, and then walk away from the subsequent fight when you're at a mech disadvantage, then you're just in a great position to take the next one. We're going to see a big Eye of the Storm come out with the next cooldown, and actually an arrow will connect on Snake King.
Oh, Snake King's in trouble here. That's from downtown. It'll be a long stun, but there just is no follow-up. The TP's coming in. They're a little too slow, and Navi US will already be able to make the retreat. PPD puts down an acid spray in case they do want to turn and take a skirmish, but Navi US have no interest, and they will leave that Tier 1 tower standing as the Evil Geniuses make a good defense. Now, Rubik, he'll steal the Sacred Arrow and maybe look for some initiating of his own.
He's going to eat the Sacred Arrow as well, and they're actually going to go deep on it. They're going to get the Concoction. This should be a kill.
Yeah, long-range Concoction, just about max damage onto Korok, and he'll get a taste of his own medicine there. As Rasta wards come down behind the tower, Snake King invisible, finds the Crypt Swarm onto Zai, and gets a freebie there, forces out the Glyph. Now Concoction being channeled up. Can Snake King find the fog? PPD, he's going to stun himself. Uh-oh. Better watch yourself there, Mr. Alchemist. He'll be able to walk back to safety. His ultimate is online, so he'll regenerate up. They get the tower kill, but now hookshot in from Brax. Will isolate Universe. Has an ultimate available. Brax will go down, and now Universe might be able to black hole something. The mech will keep him alive, and a 1-for-1 on that front. And the fight will settle down there. Exorcism was burned, but Snake King actually almost died. All the while, 1437, he's just having his own party down bottom. And he will solo the tower with absolutely no fight.
Not sure if Brax didn't check Enigma's inventory, but going in against a Mechanism Enigma at that stage was actually a quite foolhardy move. So unfortunately, he goes down without accomplishing really anything other than creating a tiny bit of space for 1437. But he's already had a lot of space for him. Like, he is already at almost 6K net worth. Now's the time for him to really start bringing his contribution. Later, if these fights were happening with Fogged having his ultimate available, that would be completely different. But because Korok was so successful in his ganks and Fogged was more the kind of roaming and babysitting support, it meant that he really fell behind in terms of experience. And now they don't have these Ice Blasts to throw out. We do see PPD coming in with the Moonlight Shadow, but just a little too far back. The Radiant Observer Ward sees him coming, and they will D-Ward now.
Yep, get a Ward kill of their own and just find some additional farming. Just glancing at the graphs here, EG with an okay lead, about 2,000 gold, somewhere about 7,500 experience. That's really where their edge is coming in, and most of that is compliments of the Enigma. You would expect even an Enigma that doesn't start off in the jungle does get to deny a lot in the off lane, and now gets to make up for all of that farm, and they just have a decent level advantage. As you were pointing out, Fogged, very underleveled on that level 5 Ancient Apparition, but if you hit E and pull up the hero level chart, you just see this huge drop-off where the EG supports and lower position heroes are at least level 8, and Navi US still have 3 heroes hovering around that level 6 mark.
Yeah, so that's obviously involves a lot about kills, but also shows a lot. Okay, top lane actually. Snake King going to go down to the plasma field. Korok tries to send one out in turn. It will kill off Arteezy, but that just pops the Aegis, and they're ready to roll with a huge black hole.
Right on top of 1437 and Brax. Arteezy comes right back up, still has the ultimate standing, and he'll do as much damage as he can. The 2 will survive for now. The mech doing a lot of work. Brax will fall to the plasma field. 1437 getting very low, but he will survive. A couple of the wards able to chip at the tower. Looks like it won't be enough to secure a kill here. Still a good exchange for EG, and even though they burned the Aegis, they basically got what they came for.
Oh, Allison or Arteezy will be taking some hits here from the Ice Blast, but they're not able to follow it up, even with like global range rocket flares. He's not going to be going down. So, yeah, it's just attempts to hold the position, but not having enough mana for the battery assault really cost Clock any chance to RNG their way out of that black hole. And Universe takes full advantage of it now, not only having the mechanism, but only a few minutes later farming up the full Blink Dagger. This guy's level 11 with Blink and Mech. And it just goes to show that there's no limit to what EG can do with this hero. It's like, okay, well, if you want to ward our jungle, we'll just send him to the offlane from the get-go, and then once those expire, we'll make rotations. We'll send Zai on the Shadow Shaman down bottom to farm it, and Universe, he'll just spread across the map and do his thing, which goes back to the experience per minute chart. Like you were saying, they are just dramatically further ahead in levels, and it really comes down to their more efficient use of farm across the map.
Yep. PPD now picks up a medallion, so second Roche will be very easy for EG when that becomes a reality, and also just gives him a little more kill potential, or setting up kill potential for all of these right clicks. Fear is level 11 now, and pretty standard stuff. Aquila, Drum, Phase Boots, some great mid-game fighting items, and has a Mithril Hammer on the way, probably looking for that Maelstrom into Mjolnir for some true carry damage, but we'll connect with an arrow on 1437. Navi US will find a tower kill in the mid lane. Snake King grabs the last hit, and EG will be on the back foot as they try to jump to safety. Fear gets isolated by Brax. Cogs come out, but he's able to leap and will be A-okay. Now, Moonlight Shadowed for the fake back. Arteezy in the front lines, no Black Hole available. And the hasted Snake King will be all right, at least for now. PPD charging up the stun. He will stun himself. Snake King uses that opportunity to pop the ultimate. PPD will use his Chemical Rage, pops his wand charges, and on the run, Mech from Universe will keep him alive. Zai from the high ground has wards for the turnaround, brings down Korok. Snake King takes a lot of damage in exchange. Now another stun out on 1437. And comes Fear, and they'll be able to click him down, and EG with the turn. One stray auto attack on Snake King will miss. They want to pursue. Blink forward from Enigma. They just need one more auto attack, but they can't find it. Will the arrow hit him? Nope. They sidestep it. Still, EG with a great turnaround there. Huge team synergy. Universe with the clutch mech. And Zai on the high ground with beautifully placed wards.
Yeah, Snake King just totally lucked out. That last auto attack definitely would have killed him, but you know, the 1-in-4 uphill miss, it does win out in the end. Snake King walks away, heals back up, but still great positioning from EG in that team fight. Even when PPD kind of flubbed the stun initially, they had the Moonlit Shadow to cover him, and they were able to just turn it back around. Really good uses of Mass Serpent Wards right then. And the Ether Shock, just huge surprising burst coming from Zai, and they just didn't see it coming. Now with the 4-staff hacks onto Snake King, they're going to get the Shackle too, and that should be a huge kill coming their way.
Yeah, point blank arrow, Midnight Pulse on top of it. Not much you can do to survive that one. In comes the Ice Blast, connects on 2, but Universe mechs just seconds before the damage comes in, which means, well, they'll be picked up, and the chances of shattering completely negated. Evil Geniuses will turn to the bottom tier 1 tower. Just a few right clicks will bring it down. Eidolon's doing some work, and that will be Enigma who secures the tower kill, taking the total tower count now 3-2. Favoring EG, and they're continuing to gain a lot of momentum here. Now upwards of 10,000 gold, 14,000 experience in their favor at only the 18-minute mark. It's pretty ridiculous how much they're out-leveling Navi US at this point. Arteezy is level 14. Oh, wait, no, pardon me. That's... yeah, no, he is 14. God, I'm blind. Level 13 on the Enigma, and the highest on Navi US are 2 level 11s. That is a huge disparity at the top end.
Yeah, and now it's just kind of showing how much their aggression has paid off at this point. They've shut down the Death Prophet enough for Arteezy to just be comparatively a giant when it comes down to HP pools and effective durability. The Eul Scepter will be coming out soon enough that he might be able to make up for it with the ability to survive for those 2.5 seconds self-cast. But yeah, you have to be perfectly on point with your defensive abilities here. Use the power cogs to create space. Use the Euls to survive just a little bit longer, and in general, just make sure that you control your zone as effectively as possible. They also can't pretty much let a full black hole go off. That's it kind of goes without saying, but all the same, it has to be very clear in their minds that if a black hole stays even on like 1 or 2 heroes for the full duration, that the fight is over. So coming back from this is difficult, but a free tier 1 is a good way to start, as we do see a pause come out, door being the excuse.
Pizza's arrived. Yeah. But, oh my god, I was on the money with that one. Look at that.
Nice, nice.
Woo. Now, Navi US will probably claim a tower here. There is a glyph for EG, and maybe they'll try to burn it and mount some kind of a defense. They are starting to make movements towards the top, but no, it looks like they will make their defense at the tier 2. Snake King holding on to the Exorcism, and that does seem to be the Navi US plan. So EG with the right idea here. Invisibility Rune onto Universe. This is scary. Zai does get initiated on, but will force staff to safety. Universe could have potential for a game-breaking ultimate here. Just reveals himself with a stun onto Korok. That'll secure the kill there. Brax in the front lines. Blade Mail on. and will be repelled just about right away. Arteezy taking too much damage, goes down. Universe looking for the black hole, but takes a silence straight away, pops his mech, but I don't think he'll survive this one. We'll just save the black hole for a rainy day, and EG, they get cleaned up. Snake King almost falls one auto attack away, but it's a full team wipe.
Wow.
Navi US. That's the power of the Death Prophet when she survives with just a few hit points to spare. And they commit deep for it, and this time they don't find it.
Snake King literally running circles around Evil Geniuses throughout the entire fight. He was just jiving and juking. He was trying to avoid all these arrows, all these other things, but he got 2 great silences off in that fight. One to start it off and force the Shadow Shaman on defensive, and then, of course, getting the Enigma, preventing him from the Midnight Black Hole combo, which he kind of greedily went for both. He probably should have just gone for one spell, but nevertheless, we're going to see 147 take some damage, but it's kind of a bait, trying to bring down Zai, but the Force Staff once again keeping him alive. So, yeah, it really came down to Death Prophet just barely staying alive through that, showing he doesn't need the Yules to really make that impact known, and it was EG that underemphasized bringing him down from the get-go and allowing him to just kind of play the kiting game.
Yeah, bottom lane, Fear chucks an arrow, will hit Korok again from downtown. Fear, it's like he can see the future. He saw that movement coming from a mile away, and just beautiful setup.
Yeah, that's keeping them in this game with these arrows connecting and just getting these big long duration stuns. Korok's actually been getting some decent skills on things like the Sacred Arrow, but has rarely lived long enough to actually get them off. So in the end, we're going to see the fight break out in mid, and it's going to be the Shadow Shaman getting picked off. Brax with a nice hook.
Yep, Brax starts it off. Nothing Arteezy can do to keep his friend alive. Meanwhile, Universe and PPD just clearing out the stacked up Ancients. Universe will face check the Roche pit and realize that he has respawned, so something that EG will be able to do pretty easily, perhaps once that Shadow Shaman respawns. BKB on the way for Enigma, and he's one step closer to that trifecta of core items, the Blink, the Mech, and the BKB. Exactly what every Enigma needs, and the only thing they have to deal with that BKB black hole is the hook shot from Clockwork, and maybe that'll be enough, but another arrow onto Snake King. EG with the pickoffs. Fear is making the plays happen.
Most definitely, and this Roshan is guaranteed free now. With picking off such a huge hero like Snake King, it's just going to be guaranteed. I mean, they can try to go for the Ice Blast Rocket Flare to delay it, but the mech timing just enabling them to stay up in this, and they'll juggle the aggro to make sure it's not going to be an issue. In fact, a giant leaping ram is what's
golden ram at that.
Yeah,
Jesus,
nice cosmetics there.
I dig. But yeah, Snake King doesn't even have a buyback here, and it might have been worth it if he had it to try and use it and totally contest this, but it won't be an option, and EG will find a pickoff at the ideal time, essentially, as Arteezy once more grabs the Aegis of the Immortal, and Evil Geniuses regain some of that lost footing and stabilize with about a 5,000 gold and 12,000 experience lead.
So we didn't see that the Razor Aegis come of much in the first Roshan cycle. It was okay for just keeping him in the fight, but it didn't like turn the tides of battle. It just kind of gave him an extra reinforcement there. Actually going to see him potentially picked off here. They have the hook shot. They're going to pick off Arteezy once.
Can they get him again? It doesn't look like they'll even try for it. Moonlight Shadow's been deployed, and there is support inbound. Radiant Sentry Ward is actually in a great spot to try and deal with this. Silence from Snake King on the high ground. In comes Universe, 3-hero black hole, but it's interrupted right away. And now EG on the back foot once more. Snake King pops the ultimate that sealed their doom last time. Another long-range arrow secures the kill onto Brax. 1437 on the high ground, going hard on Arteezy, and will be able to bring him down. Ice Blast to secure the kill. Now on the other side of the fight, they did finish off Snake King. It's a 2-for-2. And 1437 completely isolated here on the high ground. The Ward's in a beautiful position to zone out the rest of Navi US. They can't find the path to get around. You can see him running back and forth. Do we run through the Wards? Do we go the long way? And the indecision will cost them their Viper. And EG take the fight 2-3, and they end that streak on Viper. That should be your BKB up on Universe.
Korok so desperately wanted to jump in there and try to turn it around, but Viper doesn't have the AoE damage. The Ice Blast was on cooldown, so they're just going to hold it. They stole the black hole. He has a Blink Dagger. The next fight, if EG don't take that respectfully, is going to be very nice for Navi US, but unfortunately, they just weren't able to capitalize on it in this juncture. Gonna kind of be a farm game now, as EG don't want to fight up against their own spell, and they're going to be trying to avoid encounters as much as possible. So this is the best time for Navi US to push out a wave, go for a smoke, and look for a hookshot initiation.
Yep. EG, they're still in the lead, but it's a tough road. It's Navi US putting up a really good fight here. Still a 15,000 experience edge. Is nothing to scoff at, and that BKB on Enigma has come out. We see the Ag Scepter on Viper, and Fogged making baby steps towards the Ag Scepter, and actually pretty close to the Ogre Club, so 2,000 gold, and this Ancient Apparition will have a pretty scary ultimate.
Yeah, that's going to be nearly game-breaking. If EG don't guarantee at least some position in high ground, they're going to be relying on pickoffs rather than trying to fight into that. I mean, obviously, there are already some heroes that are durable enough against the Ice Blast, like the BKB does come out on Universe here. So that also means that, oh, they're going to get the stun combo, and they're going to go for the Ward Trap, but the phase is already active. And it's actually just going to be a steal of the Mass Serpent Wards. They don't even use the Black Hole.
It is only a level 1 spell steal, so maybe Korok was thinking they wouldn't have the opportunity to use the Black Hole. So it's worth it just to go for the sure big spell there, the Mass Serpent Wards. But yeah, a little bit awkward is, Universe walks right into it. There's the stolen wards. He gets telekinesis into the wards. BKB won't save you from that, Universe. Korok! Oh, what a player. Who is this guy? Oh my gosh, now Zai, he'll get picked off as he tries to TP home, but who does that?
That is just insane. I have honestly not seen a TK into War Trap ever. That is just absolutely absurdly potent, and there's nowhere for the Enigma to go. He BKBs and then he's just trapped, and it's the easiest pick off of their life. That was immense. And yeah, as you were mentioning, the Black Hole, it's something that you usually counter-initiate with. You wait for the enemy to overstep, and then you go in with it. But you can't really rely on that when EG knows how long you have the Black Hole for. So yeah, the Mass Serpent Wards are certainly a better cool skill to force the issue, to actually make things happen. But now things are happening on the top lane.
Yep. Oh, I'm looking at mid. I thought a fight was going to break out there, but Fear gets punished and silenced. He will get shut down. I really thought that they were going to set something up there. That's my bad. But, all right. EG, once again, lose that footing, and Navi US showing us they've got a sign of life here. There is still hope, I think.
Yeah, this is definitely a very well contested match. Neither one has even remotely cinched the win here, and this is going to be maybe going the distance as we see the items being built up. As you mentioned, Fog gradually progressing towards that Aghanim Scepter. He's got the point booster, so just needs 700 more gold, and he'll be finding that within a couple fights. We just see some Rocket Flare scouting, getting some good intel for where EG are located, and if they're going to look to breach the enemy jungle. Now is probably the time. They get the Exorcism back off cooldown. Mass Serpent Wards are still here for about a minute. And yeah, this would be a really nice time to engage, but they have to be confident in their approach.
Yeah. And they'll do that. EG have been doing a good job stacking up their Ancients and taking it down. With CRTZ using his ultimate to farm them, but I feel like every time I look at the Ancients, it's at least a double or triple stack, and they're just constantly clearing it out with all of these great creep clears. And Navi US have not been doing it quite the same. They do have a double stack sitting there right now. They also just don't have as good of a team for taking them down. But that is one thing helping EG in terms of farm efficiency this game, is that gold graph is starting to close. Moonlight Shadow deployed, and down bottom they'll look for initiation onto Korok. Fear doing a lot of damage. He will go down to start things off. Fog takes a stun, and that will be a double kill for Artesia, and this Moonlight Shadow proves effective.
Yeah, moving about with that. They already have some great aggressive ward vision, so they're able to find those opportunities and know there aren't going to be enough reinforcements to really give them a run for their money there. Still, Navi US looking to tank up very soon. If they can just progress to that next tier of item, it's going to be harder and harder for EG to bring them down, because we actually see 3 Ogre Clubs in inventories. We're going to see a 4-staff come out for Korok, the Heart come out soon for Snake King, and the rest, they're going for, looks like the Ags, and in 1437's case, the BKB. So, some really valuable pickups, just kind of around the bend, but unfortunately not here just yet.
Oh, no, Allison, he walks right into Snake King and Brax. The hookshot will be off the mark, but he does pop his BKB. The Dyer's Courier will fall, no cargo on it, but Korok, or pardon me, the Clockwork goes down. Now Snake King takes the Hex. Be another double kill for the Razor. Ice Blast flies through, and will this be a Shatter, actually?
It's going to be really close. I mean, it is rank 2 ultimate, so I think it might, but the last tick, not going to be enough. He has a large HP pool, but ward on ward action here on the bottom lane. Korok makes the play happen, kills off the Shadow Shaman, but now has to mess with Fear, and I don't think this is one you win, man.
Yep, Fear will clean him up. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, 1437 initiated on, survives with a few hit points to spare, finds an invisibility rune of all things, and that will ensure his survival. Universe blinks forward. Looking for some kind of an opening, but they're detection-less, and that'll be the end of it. Fogged now, level 11, does find the Aghanim Scepter. So that is the big item plays, or big item pickup that we talked about. and possibly a game changer.
They go for the Moonlight stun onto Fog, but he really can't solo kill as far as I know. The Aghanim Scepter just gives him a little bit too much durability, and yeah, I guess if he only had the point booster, there was a chance there. But now he's got, with the Tranquil Boots, actually 11 armor and a decent HP pool. So not going to find that opportunity, and they just fall back. They need to kind of wait out the Black Hole. There were like so many fights spread out that it's hard to keep track of everything, but the Black Hole was used at some point in the last big engagement, and now it's on EG to play the waiting game, while obviously Navi US want to make use of this newly picked up Aghanims on AA.
Oh, hook shot gets intercepted by Snake King. That's a little bit unfortunate, and now EG will press forward. Arrow just barely misses Snake King. Ice Blast flies through and will not hit on any. Now they'll try to go on to Fear, who does get force stab back on the high ground. Meanwhile, middle of the lane, PPD charges up a stun, connects on 1437. And they'll start to lay into the Viper. Universe BKB on. No Black Hole available here. They bring down the Viper to get things started. Fog takes a Malefice, and yeah, that'll be the end of him. 3-for-0 exchange as Evil Geniuses continue to press forward. PPD gets force stabbed as he throws the concoction, slows down Snake King, and that should be enough to secure the kill. He's doing a lot of return damage with the Exorcism, but it's just not enough. A 4-for-1 as Alchemist does go down to the Ghosts. It's still a huge swing of momentum back in favor of EG. Korok with the stolen concoction will stun Arteezy under the tower, but oh, he takes the unstable current. That slows him down and blinks just in the nick of time. That would have been a near max damage plasma field, and we'll make it back. Korok with the clutch plays once again, but EG, oh boy, it's starting to get pretty gross how big this lead is. Now upwards of 10,000 gold, almost 25k experience.
Oh, we're going to see Universe caught inside the cogs, though. Really nice movement, but the Force Staff from Zai bailing him out. It's going to be actually Zai, I think, that will bite the bullet here. Just too much damage coming out. He's caught under the Ice Blast, and he is definitely going down.
Yeah, he gets telekinesis back. The tower does fall, no denial, and that'll be where it ends. EG only losing 2 of their supports, so pretty minimal losses considering they took a big team fight and get a tier 2 tower kill in exchange.
The big aspect of that last team fight was the Ice Blast missing. They delta split so hard in that thing. All 3 were in it, all 3 going different directions. They make this triangle of evasion, and Fear actually in a bad spot. Needs to hook to the low, leap to the low ground, but instead just goes straight forward, and that might not be enough. The damage over time, but Brax has the Rocket Flare in just a second. It's not going to be enough, unfortunately, to bring down a 250 HP hero.
Arteezy on the other side does get completely converged on. Ice Blast does connect. He uses his BKB in the hopes to survive, but he can't handle the 1v5, and Navi US secure yet another one and get a recovery kill out of all that. At least
and look at that bounty.
Survives, but how much was that? 800 gold. Ooh, for Death Prophet, or not, oh, nearly 900. That is a hard task.
Yeah. And he actually was really close to it the last time that he died, and it's very fortunate that he was able to come back so hard with that last kill, because otherwise he'd still be looking for it and might risk dying again, and it's the cycle continues. But now he's got it. It's not going to be coming out on the courier just yet. They want to focus on getting this tower and getting out, maybe dropping out some wards so they can try to prevent Roshan if they ever look for it. But they've got the Rocket Flare to scout either way, so we'll see if that factors into where they decide to place some wards.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Yeah. Sorry, I had to tab out for just a moment there, but looking slightly better for Navi US. This is just a game of momentum back and forth. Unfortunately, Navi US, even though they make steps forward, they haven't really been able to just take control of the game. And it seems every time they step forward, EG is right there with a response. You see 1437 caught inside of the Hex. PPD gets telekinesed, but Navi US not there with the initiation. A long-range arrow hits Korok. Will they pursue it? It's a 5-second stun. PPD's there. Force staff to the high ground, but the concoction will still fly onto Korok. He manages to get off the blink just in the nick of time, and that will ensure his survival for now. Moonlight Shadow used. Now Fog caught in the Hex. Snake King turns with the Exorcism online. Fear pops his BKB. Will stand his ground for now. Universe coming in. They'll finish off the Ancient Apparition. Snake King caught inside of the ward trap, and they'll do all the damage they can to bring him down. Black Hole on 2. Snake King and Brax in trouble. They'll both go down, and it's a 1-for-3. Again, going the way of the Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that Ice Blast was still really powerful with the cogs. Brax really set it up, but unfortunately PPD doesn't fall. He drops down to about 140 HP, but still narrowly survives. And yeah, they really just needed a little bit more for that, but Korok had already fallen back as far as he could with that blink de-initiation, and now the Roche is as good as EG's. I mean, they can look to Ice Blast when AA respawns, but by then it's pretty much all done. I mean, Enigma is really farmed right now with his current item progression. Not only does he have the BKB, but he's well on his way to the refresher orb, so he has some good right clicks, and this is not your support Enigma. This is what you expect from a core player picking up this hero and trying to find that maximum value and that critical mass.
Yeah, so Aegis and Cheese here. Stands to reason Arteezy will grab the Aegis once more. We've talked about how good of an Aegis carrier Razor is, as that Eye of the Storm persists through death. And Cheese will go the way of Enigma, giving Universe sort of a second life almost, and maybe opening up some more potential for those big black holes. Fear, how's his farm looking? He has the BKB. We saw it showed off in that fight. Now down to a 9-second charge. And Mjolnir helping him out with a lot of damage. But 1437 finds him in the top lane. Viper Strike. Fear will be happy to leap into the trees and just TP back to safety. Not much else the Viper could do there. So there you have it. EG back on the right foot, I suppose you could say. And we still have an even game on our hands. Both teams with 5 towers down. 1 tier 2 remaining in the bottom lane, and everybody's just kind of sitting back farming, looking for those openings to find initiation, but most importantly working on those core items. Brax is well on his way to an Aghanim Scepter on that clockwork, just about 800 gold short.
Yeah, I don't know if anything that Navi US at this point in time can pick up will matter all that much if Universe can just keep nailing these black holes, because he just picked up a full refresh orb with his BKB, even the cheese. It's not even going to be about mana anymore. This guy can just jump in, and if he can find a couple of good pickoffs, there's no way to stop it. The only thing that they have is the hook shot, and if you just get one good hero to kind of act as a buffer between the clock and the Enigma, that's not even going to happen.
Yeah, that is definitely not the easiest ability that cuts through BKB to interrupt.
Or you could steal the black hole. I forgot about that part.
Yeah, again, so easier said than done to steal it and then use it right on the Enigma. Yeah, you have to be a very perfect positioning for that, but still an option, worth pointing out. 1437 goes in onto Fear. He'll pop his BKB, connects with a short-range arrow, and they should have the damage to bring down this Viper. PPD's there with a 4-step forward. Unstable Concoction will secure it. Now they'll look towards Korok. His Blink Dagger coming up in a second, and will use it to much avail. Arrow flies through, connects on Zai, creating some space for himself, but Universe is there. Can he get off the Malefice? Just barely finds the range, and now Korok's fate should be sealed. Concoction charging up, Moonlight Shadow used. Bottom lane, let's see what's going on. Arteezy in the front lines here as Fogged on the run, and it will just be a 1-for-0 trade as Snake King uses his ultimate, and now he's really on the run. It's Snake King versus the world, has a TP scroll, and they won't find him in time to interrupt it.
Yeah, I think they should have seen where the spirits were coming, but they just kept on focusing on looking through the fog where you'd expect somebody to run, but nice little juke coming out from Snake King, just barely staying alive. But a living Death Prophet without the ultimate available is still not that big of an impact. Brax actually going to get picked off here, and look at Fear's right-click damage right now. Been farming as much as he can, but Brax with the hookshot disengage and the silence to pursue, they can't actually chase him down. So they're going to get this bottom tier 2 for sure, but minimizing their losses as Brax is getting out, still pretty costly considering not a single black hole was cast in that exchange.
Yeah, and no refresher used. They still have the cheese, still have the Aegis. That was pretty damn good for EG, and they lost almost nothing. Now Razor has his Assault Cuirass. Oh, this is so big on this hero. Of course, it helps cut down towers that much more quickly and really helps him tank up. Dire Wards will come down, and this tier 3 tower will take a lot of damage. Arteezy in the front lines takes a Viper Strike and an array of 4 stabs. Ice Blast flies through, only hits on Zai. Universe looking for the opening, but being very patient here. Wants to make sure that first black hole does count for something. Tower gets down below half health before the roster wards get cleaned up, and they will have this glyph cooling down in 10 seconds. EG may just want to back out. They don't really need to force the issue here. They'll still be happy with securing that tier 2 tower and the kills leading up to this this engagement, and they'll do just that. And Fear, he's just about to have a Daedalus. Has the recipe Crystallis already, just a demon edge away.
Yeah, right now the game is make or break based on Navi US's Ice Blast. Getting Fogged to get the Ice Blast on a ton of heroes and try to bring them down in spite of the massive wall they're up against. That's really the only way I see them pulling this one out. The Aghanim Scepter, picked up by Brax, will enable him to go for a solo pickoff and still have that hookshot available very shortly to kind of regroup. We actually see that if they could go for like the hookshot on short CD with the Ice Blast, they could actually clump up a couple heroes, pick them off, and try to go in for maybe like a 5 versus 3 push. But that's the real like ideal situation for them to pull forward, because as it is right now, they're tapering. I mean, they've gotten this Death Prophet huge. Got Heart, got Yule, is going to have Shivas, but you don't progress much further from there. Maybe AC and things of that nature can help you, but I don't know. Gonna go for the exorcism. Gonna be useful in this next fight, but we'll see how Universe chooses to engage.
EG smoked up on the other side of the tree line. They'll see Snake King in the front lines. Viper Strike out on the BKB Razor, but Universe Black Hole on the 1.37. Interrupted right away, but there's the refresher. Second Black Hole, but it's stolen. Oh no, that's the Rubik Black Hole. Now that'll proc the Aegis, but Navi US, they'll get completely cleaned up. It just doesn't matter. They don't have the damage, and it'll be a 4-0 trade. Wow.
Oh my god, that's just like, that's as good as you can get, interrupting that black hole, stealing it, and actually getting it on multiple heroes, but he just doesn't have HP. He doesn't last long at all, and they turn it right back around against him. Brutal loss there. I really thought that had some real potential, but couldn't last long enough. The Ice Blast wasn't on point, and yeah, they just couldn't bring them down in the end. Heck, they didn't even use the cheese here. We're going to see one more Ice Blast come through, and Universe will have to back off temporarily, but they just don't have the follow-up to that kind of a counterplay.
Yeah, buyback from Viper, but now the Exorcism's on cooldown. They have a glyph, and that's about it. Navi US really on their last leg here. Maybe they can survive this push, but even so, this will be crippling damage. Mid lane of Rax have already fallen. Bottom tier 3 tower is soon to fall as well. Universe on his way in. BKB at the ready, but he doesn't have any other black holes available. Hook shot onto Fear. Arteezy BKB on. Will just completely repel Navi US. Finishes off Fog. Now Brax will survive with a few hit points to spare. Arteezy gets telekinesed into the pit. So that will finish him off. 900 gold split across the Radiant side. Hook shot forward. Next on to Fear, but he'll BKB. He won't be too much worse for wear. Oh, there's the Yules, and now he is in some trouble.
Yeah, with the Axe, they can just keep chasing. Brax will be all over them very shortly. They have to do something about it. They can't just keep running, but they are. They're just throwing out stun after stun. BKB TP while the hook is on CD. Universe will get out, but PPD is now the target of choice. They will go ahead and steal the Chemical Rage, throw him up in the air, and although his HP regen may be great, they still have the damage to bring him down.
Yeah, he has his Force Staff and Stick coming off cooldown, nowhere to juke. EG, they get punished, but like I said, they really got what they came for. Mid and bottom lane of Rax got cleaned up. Navi US get 3 kills on the way out. Certainly not bad, but definitely not great either. And it'll just really take one more team fight from EG to put that final nail in the coffin.
I mean, this is pretty much going to be a 60-second timer. Once Universe has both black holes, I don't see them losing high ground. So they just have to wait it out for a very short span of time for all the respawns for the black holes. And yeah, just put it to use. But we'll see the all-in push. This is the GG push right here. It's make or break time for Navi US. They certainly have the tools to bring heroes down, but unless they can execute even better than what we saw in the bottom lane, it's nigh impossible. We'll see.
Yeah, they have this window where the black hole's stuck on cooldown for 35 seconds. That is their time frame. If they can't do it in that amount of time, then I don't know that they can do it at all. Buybacks on the Dire side. Alchemist does have his, as does the Mirana, but they'll hold them, and it will, I think, prove successful. Glyph comes out for the Dire side. Snake King with the Exorcism deployed. EG will TP back. They'll find Zai, and they want to engage on him, but he'll survive the initial onslaught. Bottom fight breaking out. Arrow flies through, connects on Brax. He has the blade mail on, but it just doesn't matter. Meanwhile, on the top side of the fight, Zai survives, and Navi US already down 1. Not the way they wanted to start off this fight. Now Brax will buy back, but he doesn't have BOTs. He can't get back to this fight very quickly at all, and Snake King is almost moments from death, but will get healed up as he goes up in the Yules. Now he's got nothing left. 1437 gets clicked down. He dies. Snake King will juke the arrow, but still takes a concoction, and that will be the end of him. And Navi US will say, GG, well played. Evil geniuses do it, even without a black hole for that last fight. Universe doing the celebratory double hole here.
Nice, nice. Right on the OTZ. But yeah, 25,000 graph gains in the end. They were able to pull ahead in that conclusion. The real great thing about their lineup was how they were able to secure Roche left and right, how they were able to ignore the fact that their jungle got warded and still pull out of the laning phase ahead of their opposition. And obviously they just set up their team for success. Viper and Death Prophet can only carry so hard, and as we saw it, only with like 519 and 470 GPM, they weren't really at that late game carry status. So it is going to be EG to take this one away, and a well-deserved victory from them.
So we're at that halfway mark here, Blaze. 3 more games coming up for Starladder coverage today. We're a little bit delayed, so the break should be short. Not today versus Union Gaming coming up next.